Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Anyway, procrastination. Are we ready? Let's lift this ship up off the ground. There is a Bible verse everybody knows from Proverbs 10:4, which I love. It's like 10:4, like checking in, like that's the truth, right? A slack hand causes poverty, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. Procrastination is the slack hand. What does procrastination do? It holds you down on the couch, doesn't it? What does procrastination do? It holds you back from the vibrant life you want to live. What else does procrastination do? It makes you feel guilt, and taken to an extreme, it makes you feel shame. Procrastination is never a good thing, and it can become habitual. That's why we're talking about it today, because you're not a good entertainer, Lily, come on. Jameis said, yeah, we just had a bad storm too. Lots of thunder and lightning, but it's over now, I'm glad to say. But one of the things about procrastination is there's certain things attached to it, and a lot of it is fear. A lot of it is fear. As much as it robs you of your time and robs you of the quality of life and robs you of your vibrancy, it's fear-based. And fear-based never has a place for us in our lives, does it? I mean, has fear ever served you? The only time fear ever really serves us is when we have a fearful thought or an intuition or something. But when we are fearful and living in fear, it doesn't do anything. It puts a protective wall around us, sure, but that protective wall is a self-imposed prison. It doesn't help us to move forward at all in our lives. And this is what happens with procrastination. Putting off, oh, I'm going to go on the sprint after the holidays. Oh, maybe next time. This time it's not perfect. And procrastination is also another word for perfectionism, by the way. You know that. I mean, if you've followed Fly Lady for any period of time, she talks about that all the time. But psychologists tell us that sometimes procrastination is just, there's a task that we're dreading and that we're simply putting off. That's something. You know, right now, you know what I'm dreading and putting off? Washing the dog. He needs a bath. But I am dreading it because the last time wasn't fun, and I'm going to have to do it again because he pees on his paws. Come on, it's disgusting. And, you know, nobody wants to smell pee paws. You know, we kind of rinse them off and wipe them off, but really, he just needs a bathtub. That's my procrastination. So it's a task that you put off. And James Clear has this thing called the 2-minute rule. This is how you develop new habits. And the 2-minute rule is nothing should take longer than 2 minutes when you're trying to get it done. Now, I don't know how you can wash a dog in 2 minutes. That would be like, I don't know, way too fast. But there's a lot of things that you can do in 2 minutes. Even, you know, like a yoga routine or something. You can do a 2-minute yoga routine. Downward dog, come back up, whatever. Eat the frog, wash the dog. But, you know, there are things that you can do. And oftentimes the biggest part and the hardest part with getting a task done, and the reason that we procrastinate, is just getting started on it. You know, one of the things that I do, and we've talked to you before about this with that Mark Twain quote, which was to eat the frog. How do you get, you know, through a task that you keep procrastinating or something that you're dreading to do? You eat the frog first. And then he says, if there's two things that you're really procrastinating, eat the ugly one first. So that's pretty funny. I loved that one. But, you know, where we are right now is we're talking about what should we call it? The shadow of procrastination that really lands hard on a lot of folks and becomes habitual. There's even talk, and I went into a dig on some of the research. Is procrastination addictive? And what I would say is that I think anything has the potential to be addictive and become an addiction if we are just allowing it to have its way. We have to confront stuff like this. And I've got I think how many tips do I have on? 7 things that we can help with procrastination. But right now at this whole thing, we have to look at procrastination in a structured way, because I believe that that's what's going to help us to really unpack it, unplug it, and stop giving it the power that it has. Because if you think about it, and you think about the guilt associated with it, even the shame and the repercussions of it and all of the things that go along with it, that's when we understand, that's when we know that procrastination is the mother of guilt and shame. We put off, we put off, we put off. But to change it, we've got to do it in a structured way. There are 3 kinds of procrastinators, right? And I'm going to go through a couple of them. Number 1, there's the delayers. These are the people, and I would say that I'm one of them, like when I was in my book writing days, and I do have one more book in me, I think. I think of an addiction as anything that gets more time and attention than it deserves. That's good, Sarah. I really like that. That's pretty much it too. Yeah. Because, even though maybe it's not clinically addictive, but shopping, and gambling and other things that take up our time and take up our mind space, we have to look at those things. We have to look at all of it. But there are 3 kinds that I want to look at right now. And one is the delayers. And the delayers are the ones who say, oh, I know I've got a deadline, and I'm going to wait. I've got all of this stuff that I know what I need to do. I just need to get in there and do it. So what I would do with a book deadline, when you're writing a book for a publisher, you have 18 months between concept, a book proposal, and when they need it so that they can, for the publish date. And the publish date after that, takes about 6 months, I guess. So it's a really 2-year process. And you need to get that book to your publisher. So what I have done, would be to get it started. I'd have my outline, of course, because when you have a book proposal, it's already outlined and detailed with the chapters. You don't give them the whole manuscript. That's a big fallacy. They don't have time for that. They just want to get a grip on what this book would be about if you were to do it, and then a sample of your writing to see if you're up to the task. So I would sit there and go, okay, well, I got all these other things to do. I'm running a business. I'm raising kids. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And procrastinate. Then all of a sudden I'm going, holy crap. I have a whole manuscript due in a month. And so I jam on it, and I had lots of late nights and doing all this, and then testing recipes, drafting people in to help and all of that. And it was high stress for a whole month because I'm a delayer, and I delayed that and pushed the deadline. I try to get out of that one, working on that one. But this is what I was. And then there's perfectionists. They don't even get off the block, because if it's not done perfectly, then why even do it excellently, right? That's what a perfectionist does. They don't do anything because they start already just thinking about what the task is at hand and thinking about why it's not going to be perfect and why it shouldn't be started because of that. And you know how self-defeating that one is. And then there's the distractible, the shiny objects people, the people who think that they can multitask. We talked about that yesterday, because we know that multitasking is the biggest bunch of malarkey on the planet. So we need to just understand that this distractibility, this shiny object, this squirrel, kind of a thing has to go. It's never, ever, ever going to serve and make a decision. It's simply what that is making a decision to say, okay, I'm on this, not on that. And I'm just going to look at this. As tempted as I am to start a million projects, we need to keep ourselves on track. But the research shows that there's a pattern of powerlessness that leads to procrastination. And they had a couple of different things in there that I just want to go through. And this stuff I'm not going to unload, but this is what the psychology is on this, because but I think it's really super interesting. And the first thing is that with this pattern of powerlessness that leads to procrastination is a negative self-worth that comes from a negative self-worth, putting off and not doing, and thinking, not very highly of yourself because of your doing this, and denigrating yourself on a regular basis. Well, I'll never do that. I'm not smart enough to do that. I can't because, and then on and on and on and on, and just really bringing the whole thing down. You are, well, Betsy, you're in the right place. I'm glad. She said, I'm all three. Don't worry about it. We've got you. The third one is being highly self-conscious. They think that everybody's looking at them. And remember, we've talked about this before. You're playing for an audience of one, for yourself. You're not playing for the whole world. You're not on a stage and everybody's sitting there and doing a critique like, your opening night on Broadway. It ain't happening. But we think that way, and that's what this is talking about. Number 4 is their comparers, negative comparers. Well, look at her. She's got it so much easier. She doesn't have kids at home like I do. Or look at her. She doesn't have as much weight to lose, or she does. And in other words, just putting it off and making decisions not to do something because you're comparing. Well, I can't do it like she can. I have way too much weight to lose, but she didn't. She only had 30 pounds. I've got 50, whatever. And that's what this whole thing is about. And then the last one, this is something that nobody wants to talk about because it's not very flattering. And that's just a plain old lack of self-control. Self-control. We all have impulses, don't we? I do. Mark takes out something that I would like to eat. Like, I'd like to eat that. And impulsively, I'd like to eat that, but I'm not going to. That because I have to check myself, but I go through this whole decision-making process every single time. You would think that wouldn't be the case, but it's true. This is just how it is, y'all. It's how it is. We're always thinking in our brains, what are we going to do next? And this whole thing, this lack of self-control, well, that's part and parcel. So what are the treatments for this? Well, the psychologists say that you need to get to the place of self-respect. How do we self-respect ourselves? I believe we self-respect ourselves with just the littlest of things. We start by making our beds in the morning. That's a show of self-respect, of taking care of what one has used and putting away and cleaning up what's been done. You're done with your bed, make it. You're done with your breakfast dishes, put them in the dishwasher or wash them in the sink and take care of them. These are little acts of self-respect. I remember Elizabeth Taylor, of all people, went to some rehab. And you know what she said was that one of the things that really got her was, she had to make her bed every morning at this rehab center. And she had to do cleanup in the kitchen and doing all these things. She said, but it taught me how to respect myself, finally. Here she was, a glamorous movie star with violet eyes and all of that. I mean, she's been dead a number of years now, of course, but she fought addiction, and it got her to this place of the little things creating that spirit, that understanding of what self-respect is. I think that's really important. Number 2 is self-confidence. Now, how do we get self-confidence? We've done a show on self-confidence before. You get self-confidence doesn't come before the action. That's the biggest myth in the whole world. In order to get self-confidence, do something, and then you have confidence over your doing. You don't muster up self-confidence. You don't go into a closet and say, I'm just going to be self-confident and go do it. No. You muster a little courage maybe and do the 4-minute workout on the Hot Milk Sprint group. Right, Eileen? Right? And then what do? You just muster up the courage to do something. And afterwards, after the done deal, you've got self-confidence. You have self-confidence. Look what I just did. The other thing is there are strategies. Personal efficacy. This is what they were writing. This is on a psych board. And this is what they're saying. You need to use different strategies to improve personal efficacy and goals. And I started laughing and I said, yeah, come to our workshop. We've got them right here, because this is highly actionable and does put you into the place of having to do something every single day. I think that's one of the keys, just to sit back and to look at something as if it's just, pie in the sky. That's not helpful. Not at all. But this is what the psychology, this is what the research is telling us is necessary. So out of that, I've got some fix-its for you if you're ready to get it going. Are you ready? And we have note takers for those of you who write these things down. And I'm just going to call it 7 fix-its for self-control. And number 1 is brutal honesty. We all have something, don't we? I mean, I don't know of anyone who doesn't procrastinate on something. But if it has become habituation, if it has become a way of life and it's ruining everything and it's causing all these remorseful, regretful feelings and shame and guilt and all the rest of it, girlfriend, you've got a problem. And it's time to get brutally honest with that, okay? There's more on this, but we got to start at step 1, brutal honesty. Are you a procrastinator? Has this become a way of life? The Daily Dish Show is about bringing vibrancy back into your life, and vibrancy and procrastination do not dwell in the same house. Procrastination is a robber of joy. Procrastination is a robber of your time, and it takes up space in your head, and it takes up precious energy, doesn't it? It's extraordinarily low vibe. We want to be up here. We want to be twinkling. We want that razzle dazzle, right? Amber, razzle dazzle. We want all of that. So brutal honesty is number 1. Number 2, we got to stop the guilt, stop this guilt. And instead of saying, well, I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that, sit down and make a freaking to-do list. Seriously. What are you not doing? Make a to-do list out of it. That's pretty simple. That's a flip and a half, isn't it? Really quick. I'm not working out. Okay, put a workout thing down. What are you going to do? Oh, okay, well, I'll do this class on YouTube. When are you going to do it? Write it down. Create your to-do list. Razzle dazzle. Number 3, change how you describe yourself in your world. If you are walking around telling everybody and telling your brain and telling the world and telling your kids and your husband and your world and your community, and you're saying, you know what? I'm just not that good at that. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at managing my time. I'm not good. I'm just terrible at it. I'm not good at getting things done. I put things off. And you start doing that, you know what you're doing? You're underscoring that. We need to be looking at the things we want, not the things that we don't want. And that's the thing that we should be mouthing, and not like, I'm going to, well, maybe I'll give it a try. No. Get into it. Because remember, what you think about expands, what you dwell upon becomes your destiny. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. Why is all of this? Because when we redirect and put our energy toward that, instead of underscoring, highlighting, and putting big circles around all the stuff that we don't do and all the things that we are, you might even be saying the truth about what it is that you're not doing. Who cares? If you've decided to flip it, if you've decided you want a vibrant life, then it's time to stop talking about the things you don't want in your life anymore. It's time to start talking about the things you do. There's a huge mindset shift when you do that. It's seismic, as a matter of fact. Tectonic plates and the whole 9 yards. It is. That's right. A to-do list that has not specific and time bound is just a wish list. That's exactly right. And they will all tell you that. But to start, we need to have some kind of a to-do list for the day, of all those tasks. Yep. And I wait until the last moment, unfortunately, to get my things done. You hate it? Okay, flip it. There you go. When we hate something, we don't have to tolerate it, even if it's from us. We just make a decision that it's no longer appropriate. This isn't appropriate for me. I'm a grown woman. I don't need to be doing this anymore. I am a badass, not a half-ass. These are the things that we line up. When we are not lined up with our goals, with our vibrancy, with our word of the year, the things that we want, we're out of alignment. Jocelyn just posted her workout in the Hot Melt Sprint group. Jocelyn, I love you. You are brave. How do you feel now? Self-confident? Of course you do. Fabulous. Number 4, did I say number 3? Yes. Change how you describe yourself in the world. Please do that. Please start saying I am and then the thing you want, and start doing that. That's going to retrain your brain. And when it comes out of your mouth, it's going to start working its magic. I promise. Hand to God. Number 4, be optimistic. That's another thing that people, well, I'm just not that optimistic. I'm just not that positive of a person. I'm a night owl. I'm not a morning person. These are all excuses. That's super crap. Got it? Crap. Come on. What do you want? That's what you are. Start saying it and smiling. Even if it's just at yourself, go practice in the mirror if you need to. But optimistic people have a different vibe. They do. It's much higher and up here, not down in the gutter. It doesn't work. Number 5, guess what? Goals, gals, goals. Now, goals can be intimidating. They can be overwhelming. They can be everything. I get it. That's why that's why we're having the workshop coming in. But goals are the things that move the needle in your life. I have a goal to do X. I have a goal to do this. Goals, they're everything, and they bring the vibrancy back into your life because you're now actually accomplishing the thing that you really want, the wish that you've had, the thing that makes you tingle inside. It can be yours. It can be yours. You just need to stop the procrastination and start putting a little something toward it and watch what happens. Number 6, take the smallest of steps. This kind of harkens back to James Clear's rule of 2 minutes, right? Put on, do a downward dog, and the next thing you know, you're going to be doing a whole yoga class. Put on your walking shoes and say, I'm just going to go outside for 2 minutes. Guess what? You're going to do it longer than that. But if you do these kind of things and you start with rewarding just the simplest steps, like you come back inside and you say, atta girl, I'm going to give myself 20 minutes of Candy Crush or 10 minutes of whatever, it is that you would have put off to do and would have put that good thing off and done that instead, then just reverse the whole situation. You'll see, you'll get the reward by doing. And number 7, the last one is show it off. Show off what you've done. Look at me. Yes, look at you. It's also a way to become accountable. It's a way to be connected. And it's a way to stop self-isolating and putting yourself into this little teensy-weensy corner where nothing gets done. And you feel bad, and you feel in the dark, and you feel shame. Shame's garbage. And we're done with it. Pinkies up. Be this woman because you already are. It's time to shed the stuff. That's super crap. I'm bringing the tooth ball. It is super crap, 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 crap. I'm done with this. If you want vibrancy in your life, that's the supreme ultimate goal. What does that mean? Well, there are certain areas of your life that need to be lit up. Lit, on fire. You're excited for it. That's why we're sprinting like all out right this week, right? I mean, I'm like on fire for that. Are you on fire for it? That's the thing that's going to light you up. And it's going to put procrastination into its place on the floor, under your feet, you wiping it on it like a welcome mat. It's not welcome in your home anymore. It's not welcome in your life anymore. You're worth more than that. Remember, you are here on purpose for purpose. So procrastination doesn't have any place to go in with that kind of a life. Not if you're going to live a vibrant one. We're talking about time all this week, because time is the one commodity in your life you are never going to get back. And I want you more than anything to not only value your time, but to cherish every moment. Those moments with your kids, the moments with your spouse, the moments in your home, the moments at work, everything. Everything could be reevaluated with an eye toward vibrancy when you make a decision that you're done with procrastination. That's right. Pinkies up. Pinkies up. No, Catherine, it's not a hard one for you. This is the easy. Just make your decision. It is easy. Easy, easy, easy. It is a life of ease. There might be some slips. It might be where you're one step in and one step back. You know, we do the cha-cha all the time. You know that. You know, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. But if you have grit, what do? You do not quit. We are wise women and we don't quit on ourselves. Amen? Pinkies up, lovelies. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope that was helpful. Pinkies up. Peace be with you.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.